Welcome back, people. It is episode 49 of the Taxi Squad podcast. We are officially back after an amazing weekend of not only college football, but professional football. Also, you should know that we are on every major streaming platform available and now on YouTube. So wherever you do get your podcast, be sure to follow there. Vince, home game, not an option this week.
Not this
How
week.
the hell are you?
Good, dude. We're both obviously not in the same places that we usually are. I am currently dog sitting. We might get a dog visual later in the episode. We'll see what happens. Anything's possible on this beautiful program. But yeah, so this is quite a different setup for me. I think it's gonna work out. Might be a little boomy, but we're gonna deal with what we got here. You also aren't home right now.
No, I'm not. I'm at a Native American reservation. No, I'm not. I'm in New Mexico. I'm in lovely Santa Fe.
Ooh.
As we can see behind me, there is a lot of Native American tribute / artifacts. If you look behind me,
Ooh.
all right,
That's our friend
So
River
we got
Falls.
that's our friend River Falls, friend of the podcast. He's
Yep.
also smoking a pipe in that picture.
My
so,
dude.
He's a friend of the pod for sure. And then, beyond that, just here spreading the good word for the fire alarm system world
like,
and, doing that.
Is this
Got a
your
bird flying out my
mission?
window right now,
Good.
And that's why if you're like, why the hell is he looking up? But I mean, this bird wants to be in here with us.
The views are immaculate. The views are
The
immaculate.
views are immaculate today. It's good to be back, Vince. A lot of it was just we do what we can for the people.
Yeah.
And we're men of the people. And we bring it to you every week. Rain, sun, shine, home, not home. Wherever we are, we're doing it.
You're
So
damn
how was
right.
your weekend? Talk to me, kid.
It was good, man. It was good. It was relaxing. Got some family time in. Got some friend time in. I watched all 3 of the Lord of the Rings.
How high were you?
No, me? Not at all. I was totally sober. I was drinking water and watching some Lord of the Rings. It was a good time.
Nice.
I forgot how much I like those movies. But hours and hours. It was like I watched one on Friday night and then I woke up and I immediately put on like all the championship games and then I immediately went right back to Lord of the Rings again. And then Sunday
So you were
I capped
just
it off.
You were that invested.
Yeah. I went to hang out with some people. I went to a Christmas party, came back from that on Saturday, watched Lord of the Rings. It was insane. And by the time that the third one ended on Sunday, I was like, what did I just do for 3 straight days?
You watched The Lord of the Rings. Now,
Yeah.
did you watch The Hobbit first? Because in theory, that's how those work.
So I never seen The Hobbit. So I'm starting that now. But I wanted to watch Aragorn. I wanted to watch, my boy Schmeagol do some fuck shit. I wanted to watch Frodo get absolutely consumed by said ring. So it was all a great time. There's so many plot holes, though, that I was just like, why didn't they just fly that dragon straight into it and drop it in there? And then why did he have to bring it? I don't know. This isn't a Lord of the Rings pod, but I
Lord
digress.
Of the Rings pod?
Maybe next week.
Lord of the Rings pod?
We'll see. When football ends, we'll see if we turn into a Lord of the Rings pod.
No. We got hockey talk potentially. We've
True.
been trying to get hockey talk on this podcast
Yep.
for months now. So we'll tell you how that goes. But we do have some strange and unusual topics ahead of us. We didn't forget. So Vince brought one to the table, which we do have a fair amount of NFL stranges. But in this case, our favorite to talk shit about on this podcast, none other than the LeBron James is the topic of discussion. Vince brought this to the table. So what do we got? What's going on with the South pitch right now?
James. So right now the NBA in-season tournament is going on. The Lakers played the Rockets. The Rockets are coached by former strange and unusual person, Ime Udoka. Last time he was on Strange and Unusual, it was actively negative about him. Now I think we're on his side, so I'll take it. Ime Udoka and LeBron James got in a bit of a spat during the game, which led to Udoka getting kicked out, getting ejected. And I quote, Udoka to LeBron, stop crying like bitches, man. And LeBron said, we're all grown men here. That bitch word ain't cool. And to that, he replies, soft ass boy, stop bitching, act like you're going to do something. Because he's going up to him like he's going to like fight him or something or big man him. But obviously he's not. It's an NBA game. So
Yeah.
Udoka called his bluff. I'm sick of LeBron always crying all the time and no one calling him out. So I totally like this. I think that LeBron doesn't have a lot of fans,
Good.
especially on this podcast, especially in the Midwest. So him just acting like he's the patron saint of all things basketball. It's like, soft ass boy.
Yeah, I don't know why he hasn't retired yet. He feels it's an awful lot
Still
like
so good though. That's what
yeah, and you always bring up he's still so good.
He is.
Yeah, I get it, but they're not competing for a title. There's no
Dude.
way in God's green earth.
They're about to win this freaking tournament.
This fucking playing tournament is so dumb. We talked about it last year. It's stupid.
No, it's not.
It's like a bubble mid-season. The Bulls aren't competitive. We could go on a whole rant about that.
I was going to say that it stunk. I was expecting myself to feel like it stinks. It doesn't. Yeah. This tournament rocks. It gives you a reason to actually try in basketball in the beginning of the season. And I like it.
Anytime Vince in basketball comes back and football starts to die down, he's like, "Ooh, I love this again," because this is this is what he does. No, it's true.
But I like basketball. Are you gonna? We're a sports podcast.
I like playoff basketball.
Yeah, you do. You do.
Because that's the real game. This is just fucking patty cake.
Competition.
Now, LeBron
Competition.
LeBron James has said it for years. He's the constant flop artist. He's always a giant bitch. It's just what he does. He cries, pisses, and moans. I'm happy. Ime Udoka did cheat on none other than the queen herself, Nia Long. So I don't agree with that. But I do agree with this. The man's, that guy's a dog. And he's the coach of the Rockets now or the Hawks?
Yeah, it's the Rockets, right? I'm not crazy.
You watch fucking basketball.
I know. Why did you bring up the Hawks?
I don't know, because I thought it was a team of the Reds.
Yeah, it's Ime Udoka. I was like, what do you mean?
Which one is it? Is it the Rockets?
It's always been the Rockets. I don't know where you got the Hawks from.
No, he was from the Celtics, because they're both red and white. So I was like, ooh, maybe my jogging memory, because I'm not a basketball guy. You're the basketball guy.
Yeah, he's the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons.
Okay, so... Anyway,
okay, moving on.
If you're not watching, Vince just got the bird. Now, to his point, moving on, happy LeBron James got called out. He deserves it. He is the biggest bitch there is.
Yep.
And it's true that there are actual coaches and head coaches of NBA franchises that are younger than him. Fun fact. Now, moving into the next strange and unusual, we have an NFL strange and unusual, and it's kind of horrific.
Yeah.
So, could you imagine? Let's paint the picture. You are the chain guy. You're part of the chain gang, right? Moving on the chain
gang.
There it is. And you're moving down, and you're moving down the field, and you got the Saints and the Lions going after it. You see Alvin Kamara just blasting it from the sideline. Pause. Anyway, and you're going through, and you're like, you see this whole thing coming at you. And you try and get out of the way, but it's too late. Bang, bang, play. You go up. You hit the ground. And then you look down at your leg, and it's in two fucking pieces.
Yeah, broken in half.
Poor guy. I don't know if anybody got a chance to see this, but Kamara rolled up on the chain gang guy, bigger cat, and then the camera goes to him, and his leg is literally snapped in half. And it is horrific. And then you just hear this blood-curdling scream.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, dear God, this was all on live television. And then they cut off Alvin Kamara. Kamara was just like, get him a trainer, and ran back to the huddle.
Okay, so I've heard this, and people are hating on him for doing that. The NFL should have an injury timeout for somebody off the field that gets smoked. Because in his mind, he's probably like, we got to move. Like, let's go. Here we go. Number one, first got to go to the next play. So I can't necessarily blame Kamara. I think he probably had some. He probably didn't also realize that the guy's leg got fucking snapped in half immediately. So it's probably initial understanding and then realizing it as he's running back. I don't know if this has ever happened to anybody on the sideline like this, to this extreme before, but everybody, usually you freak, if you get an injury like this, you freak out 5 seconds later because you got so much adrenaline, you're like, holy shit, and then you're like, oh. But this guy right away. He's just like, oh, shit.
They
Oh,
cut off,
Jesus Christ.
they cut off the camera, and then he's just like,
Ah, yeah. Which, I mean, yes, it's going to take a long time for him to recover. Hopefully there's some payment that goes on for him to get this taken care of, or he has good insurance doing that job, whatever it may be. But Jesus Christ, like, I've never seen anything like this happen before.
You're going along. You're part of the chain gang. You get paid to be a part of the NFL. Life's
Pretty cool.
good. Life's good. Snapped in half.
Life comes at you fast, Mike.
And that's why you should never mind.
No.
But the next strange and unusual we have on this podcast is also
Uncle
football
Don.
related. Uncle Don. So if you had the chance to watch a wonderful first half, the second half was just a blowout, but it was a great first half of the 49ers and the Philadelphia Eagles in Philly. Now, something happens on the sideline of the Philadelphia Eagles. And with that being said, it looked like a coach, but it turns out it's a security guard for the Eagles, and why he's on the sideline, I have no idea.
So he's more than the security guard. He's like the director of like security and personnel or something like that. He's like the king of security.
What
he's
type
a
of
Philly
mob
legend.
Shit is that? Well, he is a fucking Italian.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. You know?
Hey,
I mean, he does have on his shirt. He had the Italian flag. He had an Eagles polo with the Italian flag on it.
Yeah, on his arm.
He had an Eagles cap with the Italian flag on it too. I'm like, where do you get these hats? So
special made.
You know, Tommy DeVito might be Italian. Dom DiSandro is like, hold my cannolis.
I'm
okay.
Italian.
So with that being said, something happens on the sideline. It was a linebacker on the 49ers, gets in the face of DiSandro and pokes him literally in the fotch. So pokes him in the fotch, and then from there, all madness breaks out. There's almost a full-blown fight on the sideline. That linebacker, don't know the name, got ejected from the game, and Dom DiSandro got ejected from the game. Why, I have no idea. But then, like, I don't know, after the game, they're in the press conferences, and all this is going on, and Shanahan's like, I don't know what the director of security is doing on the side of the sideline. I don't get it.
Trey Greenlaw was the linebacker, by the way.
Okay.
Dom DiSandro, he is the senior advisor to the general manager and chief security officer. He's been with the Eagles since 1999. So he's had 25 years to get an Italian polo made for him, and it worked out, and it happened. This guy rocks. I wish the Bears had somebody like him, but he's also perfect for Philadelphia.
He is perfect for Philadelphia. I wonder what Dom DiSandro like does off season. He's the GM's like assistant to the assistant,
senior
essentially
advisor. He like advises the GM. He just oversaw safety and security measures for players, coaches, and executives, is what it says.
Sports Illustrated. The NFL should ban Dom DiSandro from the
Fuck off. That's why SI is a trash publication these days. Get out of here.
That's it. You know what we should do? We got the holidays coming up. We should try and find if we could send Dom DiSandro a razor to get a shout out from the Taxi Squad podcast.
Okay, I'm in. Dom, it's coming to you.
Are you down for this?
He's definitely a hairy guy.
I'm in the giving mood.
Oh, yeah?
I could get this sentence out. I'm in the giving mood right now. I think it would be ideal because, Dom probably is about shaving his fotch like most people.
Well,
he's
got the stash. It's always looking trim and nice. Maybe we can just give him some stuff to keep the stash going.
And what brand would we give him, Vince?
None other than Henson Shaving, Mike.
Duh. Let's get a word from our friends at Henson Shaving.
This part of today's episode is brought to you by none other than our friends at Henson Shaving. If you guys have been listening to the show for a while, you already know that we swear by Henson Shaving. We've been using them for months, and there really isn't a better product out there. The Henson razor puts an end to shaving irritation and cuts while also making your skin feel comfortable and smooth. This razor's made by using CNC machines to aerospace standards. That's right, rocket ships, people. That means it's made to very tight tolerances, meaning that the combination of how securely it's held and how minimally the blade is exposed delivers a smooth and safe shave no other razor can offer. It's literally one blade. Be safe. Please be safe. They're very sharp. You twist on the top and you get to work. It's that easy. You remember the beard bet? You remember me shaving off the whole thing. If you need to watch somebody use it, go on my Instagram and check it out because it's really that easy. Cost of ownership averages $88.20 every 2 years, which is essentially $177 less than normal cartridge razors. They're sustainable. It's precise. It's Henson shaving. It's got a nice weight to it. It's made out of metal. None of this plastic garbage. So please use the promo code THETAXISQUAD, THETAXISQUAD at checkout, and you'll receive a 100-pack of blades free with the purchase of the razor. So you go on the site, you add the razor that you're looking for, and then you add a 100-pack of razors, you'll get those for free. For most users, this amount of blades will last you 2 to 5 years, depending on how often you shave. So that promo code, again, is TheTaxiSquad at HensonShaving.com. Go check it out. We have a Final Four, Mike. College football has finally done it, and just like every other year, and probably in the future, even though we're moving to 12, people are pissed.
I am the smartest man alive.
You
called it.
I
called it.
I hate when this happens. I hate when you're
called
right
it.
Because you're like, look
called
at me. Whoop-de-doo. I'm getting texts from you, and you're like, I might be a genius. I'm like, well, if you are Albert Einstein, like, go become a fucking astronaut or some shit. What are we doing here?
It's true. I'm
Is
a fucking
it?
genius.
Okay.
I called this. I called the exact scenario.
Yeah.
Everybody's high on Oregon. Pick Washington.
Yeah.
Because Washington fucking beat them once, and I knew they could do it again.
Yep.
And I knew Bo Nix was a fucking fraud. A.
Yep.
B. All right. Moving on. Everybody, Georgia. Who's Georgia played all year? No one. Nobody. So, with all of that being said,
Okay.
Bama wasn't the same team that played Texas week 2 that everyone was like, they lost to Texas. Not
That's
the
right.
same team. Jalen fucking Milroe looks like the second coming of Lamar Jackson.
All right, he threw 13 passes the other day.
Shut up. He's great. Anyways,
okay.
you got this kid who was a transfer from Georgia. I forget his name. He's balling. Then on top of that, you got a defense that made this Bet kid look like he was a fucking baby. Like, they made him look horrible, and everybody's like, "Oh, he's better than Bennett. He's better than Bennett." Okay, no, he's not better than Stetson Bennett. I got news, and I think it showed. Okay, now, do I believe the best 4 teams are in the Final Four? That answer is no.
Well, I just want to make it clear. You might be the smartest man ever, but at no point in this season did you ever put Texas in the top 4.
Never.
I know. And
I
where are
put
they,
Bama
Mike?
in front of Texas.
If you parlayed
and
that,
they're
you'd be wrong. I put them there. I put them in the 4. And all year, you're like, not going to happen, not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Who would have thought?
What's going to happen when they play the best offense
not
in the
the
country?
argument. Not the argument. Who would
What's
have thought?
going to happen when they play the best offense in the country?
They're
Because the
probably
Booker
going
Eater
to lose.
hasn't seen a team that good all season long.
I told you they would make
that
it,
good
you know,
all season long.
You're gassing yourself up. I told you they'd make it. They're there right now. It is what it is. I don't think they're going to win it all. I think it'd be funny. I also think it'd be funny if Washington did, since both of those conferences are getting just boat race next year. I don't think either of them are going to win it, but okay.
All right, let's talk about this then. Final Four. It looks Michigan number 1.
Yep.
Then we have Washington at number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Then after that, we get Bama number 3, and then we get Texas at 4.
Is that what it is?
So,
I thought
no,
Texas
my
was
bad.
3.
My bad. Bama's 4.
Yeah.
Texas is 3.
Because you saw the
Texas
Michigan
is gonna
locker
play
room
Washington.
when they learned that, right?
Yeah, they were like,
yeah, I've never seen a team more afraid in their life. I'm like, that sucks.
Yeah.
That is so funny.
It looks like they were about to be sent off to the
oh
fucking
my God. You want me to
to the
play
Gaza
Alabama?
Strippers some shit.
Yeah.
Like, they legit looked like they were about to be sent off to war.
Yeah.
And right there, I think we all know Bama's going to win that game.
Probably.
Now, with that being said, everybody right now is on their high horse about the fact that FSU, aka Florida State, didn't make the 4, and they're an undefeated team in a Pac-12 in a big conference, and blah blah blah. Dude, really?
Yeah, for sure.
You agree that they should have made?
I don't think they're a top 4 team. But what is the criteria?
Fuck the criteria.
What do you mean? How do they make this call? They went in there and won what they had to do. If you told somebody at the beginning of the year, you have this many games, this is what you have to do to have a clear path to winning it all. They did literally everything that they could possibly do and still don't make it. Doesn't make any sense.
I get it. But even if there was a 12-team conference, if you looked at it right now and there was a 12-team play-in, right?
Yeah.
There's always a team that's going to get gypped. If it was right now, if it was 12 teams, everyone would be like, well, OU didn't make it in. Okay, fine. Right now, I believe that if what was the kid's name that tore his leg up?
Jordan Travis.
Jordan Travis is still on that team. They're in. There's no doubt about it.
That's what I'm saying.
Texas
Why is that?
Out.
Is there like a rule that they're like, well, if the quarterback's out, like they still won that fucking game.
I get it, but here's what I think the committee got a lot of smoke last year for putting in TCU. TCU surprised a lot of people. Then it got to the national championship game.
They won that game.
Yeah, I get it. And they were totally exposed in every facet imaginable. They were dog shit.
Every single
they couldn't hang
year
with Georgia.
Since the beginning of the playoff, it has happened the same way. It is there's never been a good national championship game like ever.
Yeah, there was.
Sort of. Usually
Bama.
The playoff is usually split into like one really good team and two or three other like okay to good teams.
Bama beating Georgia in the final seconds of that national championship.
That's true. There's one.
And
I'm just saying it
then
hasn't
Georgia
been,
coming back. Come on.
It hasn't been the best product ever, which I'm good. I'm happy. That's why they're changing up the playoff format. But it is insane that you can. I mean, and this is a larger conversation, but they tend to favor the SEC because of what they were, not because of what they are. The SEC was not the best conference this year. It probably wasn't the second best conference this year, which is
I'd say it was the second best. I'd say it was the second best conference
after.
This year.
Well, you get the Big Ten and the Pac-12 because the Pac-12 was really fucking good this year.
I think the Pac-12 was better than the SEC this year.
Yeah, I think the Big Ten was too.
That's my opinion. No, I don't think the Big Ten was. I don't. Ohio State, Michigan. I don't think they're better than Georgia or Alabama.
How many good SEC teams were there this year?
Georgia, Alabama, Ole Miss. You could argue.
Yeah.
Right. Texas A&M was dog shit. Fine.
Horrible.
But those three are great. So
Yeah.
the Big Two and the Big Ten were in fact that of course, Ohio State, Michigan. That's
you're not
usually
going to
what
put
you expect of that.
the absolute monster defense of the Iowa Hawkeyes in there?
Sure, but they're not a championship team. They're a good team. They play wonderful defense, but they totally got smoked against a wonderful Michigan team, and we knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Now, if you continue to analyze this from a 10,000-foot lens in corporate terms, you would agree, I believe, that FSU had no business being in this playoff. They would have gotten fucking destroyed. Because a week before this whole thing, they almost lost to Florida in the swamp, right? So I don't want to hear about how they're the team. If they were to play Texas,
rivals,
that might
throw the record books out.
Fuck the record books. I'm just saying that at the end of the day, you cannot tell me that they would be capable of competing in this Final Four bracket.
They've
Texas,
given us no reason to not feel that way, though. That's what I'm saying.
Who have they played, Vince? Who have they played?
Who has
other than LSU?
Played? Who has Michigan played besides Ohio State?
But it's the Big Ten.
I don't know,
right?
dude. I do I get it that the quarterback went out, and that's probably the biggest reason why they didn't get put in there. But it just feels like that one injury, without showing any extreme drop off in ability, I don't really understand a reason why he wouldn't let him in. And I'm not even arguing for them to be in. It's just the criteria that they utilize is so semantics in so many ways. Because it's well, this year I feel this way. And last year it didn't go well this way, so I'm going to flip it around this way. So it'll be good to have the 12 teams because FSU gets in next year if there's a 12 teams. But it's just I don't know. There's a piece of it where it's like if you go undefeated and you win your conference championship and your quarterback is injured, you're fucked now. You're like, what the fuck? Like, we didn't do anything to ask for this.
Here's how I'm going to put this. When the best team you beat all season is LSU
Pretty good
and
team.
Clemson, no, not a very good team.
Pretty good.
Not a very good team.
Pretty
no.
good. LSU
Not a
was
very
all right
good
this
team.
year.
All right, then, Vince. Let's look at this as a prediction standpoint.
Yeah.
They're going to play Georgia the
Yeah.
night before New Year's Eve. They're going to play Georgia. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Nightmare
And I think
scenario.
that'll
You ready
show.
for a nightmare scenario?
Sure.
FSU beats Georgia. Alabama loses in the final to like Texas. And then FSU's like, hey, what the fuck? Like, why did they get in there in the first place if we are
No.
better than a team that wasn't even in the top fucking 7 before last
That
week?
won't happen. That's impossible. And here's why it's impossible.
No, it's not. It's
No, no, no.
possible. It's small,
impossible.
but it's possible.
It's impossible. It's impossible. And here's why
Okay.
it's impossible. Georgia's going to absolutely smoke them. Kirby Smart's going to have those boys rolling.
Okay.
And Florida State is going to get completely exposed for what they are.
I don't
Not that
disagree
good of a
with you,
football team.
but I love that we get this all on recording in case that happens because I will be so
It's not going to
jacked.
happen.
Okay.
Here's what's
I believe
going
you.
to happen. And I'm going to give you my way too early prediction. Here we
Okay.
go. Ready?
Yep.
Alabama's going to play Michigan.
Yep.
Michigan's going to lose.
Okay.
Great. Texas is going to play Washington. Washington's going to win.
Mm-mm.
And there's your national championship.
No.
And in my opinion, Bama is in the national championship once again. They've been there. They know how to do it. Saban knows how. Washington, young team, not necessarily all the horses to get it done against a wonderful defense. Bama wins this title once again. Here we are.
Michigan, Texas. Let's go, boys.
Michigan, Texas.
Tejas wins,
You're
buddy.
fucking with me.
Tejas wins,
You're
buddy.
fucking with me. All right, what's the wager?
It's like the
on
college
this?
football.
What's the wager on?
It's like college basketball, dude. I'm going Texas. Oh, dude, the amount of money I would make off of betting all three of those into a parlay would be wild.
Yeah, but you won't win. That's the fun part. Texas doesn't have the horses to compete with.
Doesn't
them.
feel
There's
like
no
it,
way
but
you
hey,
got
who
them.
knows? Anything changes when the year turns.
I get it, but everybody talking about this right now, I'm just like, okay, yeah, let's not even go there.
I just feel
Now,
bad for the
the-
FSU players. That's all it is.
I understand people
Doesn't
feel
feel
bad,
fair.
but this happened to UCF a couple years ago. And
Different
they said, oh, they're
though.
It's not. It's kind of the
FSU's
same,
played
but-
better teams than UCF did that year, and even so, UCF did kind of deserve to be in it. So
They played no one.
okay,
They played LSU. That was it. They played LSU, Vinny.
yeah, and they were
And
beasts.
that was the best team that and then they almost lose to OU the first week of the season too. So
OU was a great
Come
team
on.
this year.
great.
Yeah, they were
Great.
like they were
We're
top
gonna-
10
we're
for they
gonna
were top 10
acknowledge-
for weeks.
Yeah, and then they lost to fucking Kansas.
Basketball school.
Granted at Kansas, but I'm just saying. So you can't okay, here's what I would say though.
Okay.
From an overall standpoint, there needs to be some change of opinions of the committees. Maybe there's two committees. Maybe there's a committee and an AI. Something that gives some perspective. Because I don't know what these people do in these committees other than
Who's
being rich,
even
old,
on it,
Anglo-Saxon white people. What?
Who even is the fucking committee? Like, who's even on?
I
the
don't know.
committee, dude.
Get us on a fucking committee. Let us
Agreed.
argue this shit.
Agreed.
Because in theory, if you want to talk about best teams
Yeah.
and best competition, Georgia should still be in the top 4.
I agree. I said it all year. They're the best team. I still think they're the best team. I just think they lost the toss up to Alabama.
They lost a very tough game to a great team, and they should have played them sooner. And this is why I believe with the upcoming NIL money of players transferring and the transfer portal now just becoming ultimately the most epic money grab ever. I think there's like more players entering the transfer portal than anybody. And that's just these guys going, oh, I'm worth something. I'm out.
Yeah. I mean, that's realistic. There's a couple guys that got in the transfer. I think Carson Beck's in the transfer portal right now.
Wouldn't surprise me. Dylan Gabriel's in the transfer portal. Dude from Kansas State's in the transfer portal.
Good luck, Dylan Gabriel. I don't know about all that. He had a
Yeah,
pretty good
why
year,
would you
but
leave?
it's not like he was a god.
I've read some rags that are saying like USC might be interested. I'm like, why? Why? How do you go from Caleb Williams to that? And
Because
you
he
got
wants to go
Mordecai.
back to his guy. He wants to go see Lincoln Riley.
He never knew Lincoln Riley.
Riley?
He never knew.
He
Never knew Lincoln Riley.
He never knew
He
Lincoln
never knew.
Riley.
He never knew him.
Really? Oh, yeah. I
He
guess
was-
he wasn't on the team when Lincoln was there.
No.
I forgot he's been there
No.
for 2
He
years.
was a transfer. He was a transfer for Venables. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Now, as we look at these bowl games, once again, Vince called it. Notre Dame in the Sun Bowl against Oregon State.
Mhm.
Called it.
That'll be fun.
Anyways,
Called what? That they'd
not
be
like
in the
US
Sun Bowl?
I said they'd either be in the Potato Bowl or something else.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I mean, I was ready for them to be in the Duke's Mayo Bowl. Like, I could have been anywhere.
what I don't understand is, okay, the Gator Bowl.
Yeah.
Wouldn't the Gators play in the Gator Bowl?
Not always. Depends on where they're at.
You have Clemson in Kentucky.
It's the
Why wouldn't you
Gatorade
just-
Bowl, dude. It's not the floor. Well, because, it's called Gatorade because of the Gators, but it's still Gatorade sponsored, not.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
James Madison made a bowl game against Air Force, and their head coach is out already.
Congratulations.
Man, he just
Congratulations to
ultimately
James Madison.
he just did. The head coach of James Madison did what you would do if you were operating a dynasty in NCAA football.
Yep.
14. Like, you take the small program, you beef them up, you get ranked, and then you're like, I'm out, and then you go to a bigger
get
program.
way more money. I mean,
Oh yeah.
being in Maryland and coaching that team, like, if you can you're not going to get paid that much. It's just the natural beauty of it. And like, I think James Madison has an opportunity to be good for a couple of years, bring in another guy, hopefully get some more funding and move on from there. But I don't blame him.
No, can't say I blame him either. Well, I'm excited about these 4 teams. I gave my predictions.
Yep.
Vince, you gave yours. Is there anything else in the college football saga we need to discuss?
Sam Hartman, thank you for playing for Notre Dame. That's it.
Thank you for looking like a king, as they would say. This is the, I don't know, young king sport.
All-time hot
he's like
guy,
20
Sam Hartman. All-time hot guy.
Isn't he like 26 though?
Yeah.
And he's gonna get
He's only
like
2
he's
years
gonna be
younger than me, and he's still in college.
Man, we fucked up. How are you supposed to do that, Vince?
I don't know, man.
Right?
You got to be good at quarterback, I guess. Mike, the in-season tournament for the NBA. We talked about this a little bit earlier. You said be gone with the whole thing. I said I like it, and I do like it. I think it's awesome. I think it gives the players reasons to play. Kevin Durant, in an interview yesterday, said, I thought I was going to hate this. I hated the idea of it. Seeing how people are getting into it, seeing how it's kind of working out. He's like, it feels like a mini playoff atmosphere in the beginning of the year. I think it's good. I think it incentivizes people to play. Each individual player gets $500,000. A lot of the younger guys, this is incentivizing them to play more. A lot of the older guys, it's incentivizing to get the younger guys more money. A couple of them already talked about what they would do with their winnings, which is pretty cool. I don't know, just like to break up the monotony at the beginning of the NBA season. I do like it. I think it's good. I was going to hate on it, but it's like soccer, man. It's fun.
I get it. I just don't understand. Okay, so you can win some more money if you're a young player. Great. It really gives you like, okay, you won the early in-season tournament. Cool. Does it kind of, in a way, dilute the value of the overall NBA title as opposed to just like,
No.
All right. No?
No, because no one's going to be thinking about this in May.
True.
Like
I'm
it's
just looking at
December,
it from
you got 82 games. Like, to do it this way, neutral court. I mean, it's obviously a moneymaker, but I don't know. It's just like a fun thing to do in the beginning.
Yeah, I think it's a fun thing overall. Ultimately, in my opinion, though, I think the playoffs need to be the playoffs. I think for young guys, they want to play hard. I think personally, this should just be for like either the freshmen or the sophomores because the old guys aren't really playing in this, are they? I mean,
Yeah,
with Bradley
they
Beal and
are.
KD, like
They're
playing
going
hard
ham.
for this.
LeBron's going ham. KD's going ham, even though him and Devin Booker seem to not be able to win together this year, but whatever.
What are the standings right now in this whole tournament? How many games are left? What's going on
we're looking
right now?
We're in the semifinals right now, coming out of the East and the West. Damian Lillard puts on a show against the New York Knicks. 146-122, absolute scoring onslaught. So it's Milwaukee versus Indiana. The place that Tyrese Halliburton built, I suppose. They beat Boston in the quarterfinals. And then you have the Lakers versus the Phoenix Suns, who ended up losing. The Phoenix Suns ended up losing to the LeBron-led Lakers. Don't get too tired. The Sacramento Kings end up losing to the New Orleans Pelicans. So we're looking at Lakers-Pelicans on the west side. We're looking at Milwaukee and Indiana on the east side.
How are the Bulls doing in this? Are they even playing?
They did earlier, and then they got knocked out real early because the Bulls might be the worst team in the NBA.
So I'm confused. So if you're in the play-in tournament, you play in this little tournament. If you get booted, do you still play other teams, or are you off?
I don't even know if the Bulls. I think you play until we get to this last couple spot. I mean, I'm still new to it.
Because right now the Bulls play tonight at 6:00. They play the Hornets.
So it must be like either consolation or just kicked out teams or whatever it may be. Because
I think you're either you're in, you're out. Because tomorrow the in-season tournament goes on. To your point, you got Pacers, Bucks, Big East tournament, right? And then we have the Pelicans and the Lakers.
Yeah.
Which I'd love to see the Pelicans win because that's a former Lakers team, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Beyond that, I'm like, okay, I see it, but it's like every other day. Okay, and then the tournament championship is Saturday.
Yes.
So this is just a money grab by the NBA, essentially. It's like, okay, who's going to be who?
Oh, for sure.
And it's either going to be the Bucks and the Lakers, or it's going to be the Pacers and the Pelicans.
Yeah, I mean, which is both of those matchups are fun, especially for teams that you don't expect getting to the finals. I mean, the Bucks can definitely do it, but the Pelicans, I don't know about all
what do you make of the rumors of the Bulls potentially putting together a package for Zion Williamson?
No, thanks.
Could happen. It could happen.
I would prefer.
A lot of people are talking about it right now.
I would prefer to not have Zion Williamson anywhere near the Bulls because that seems like a bomb that's ready to go off. And he obviously
is it worse than Zach LaVine? Because he could give a shit.
I don't think it's any better. I don't think it's any better. And also they're probably gonna, I mean, they should trade away their guys and rebuild it. Remember, it's a Reinsdorf organization. We always got to remember that when we're dealing with shit like this. I don't think Zion, he looks like he put on weight again, which is not great for his joints and his longevity. And I also don't think his commitment to the game is very much in basketball right now. I think he is and I could be wrong and I hope I'm wrong, but he's like the epitome of too famous, too fast, like high school, too famous. So similar to the Sebastian Telfair thing where everybody's freaking out about Sebastian Telfair back in the day and then he just doesn't end up panning out in the NBA. Zion's very good in the NBA, for sure. I'm not going to lie about it. He's kind of a one-tool player in a lot of ways. And if you're going to try to build a team around him right now, he doesn't seem like he has any of the leadership acumen to make a team better under his wing. He's not the leader of the Pelicans. That's mostly a CJ McCollum thing right now. And if you put him on a team and get rid of everybody else and it's the Zion show in Chicago, there's going to be a lot of pregnant women in Chicago.
He is a dog. He likes to put
He just had a kid, so that's why I said that. Don't hate me, Zion.
Is that what the porn star who talked about?
No, different girl who he got pregnant, and the porn star was pissed because she's like, I thought you were mine. And he's like, you're a porn star.
Fair enough. I mean, not wrong.
I can see you loading up.
Not wrong. Not wrong. I mean, him and Trumper do have that in common.
I guess so. And Jimmy Garoppolo, good for them.
Told her, listen, not.
They're the three kings. Jimmy G, Zion, and Trump all love porn stars.
I mean, Jimmy G went to Vegas just to bang hookers, I think. He made a lot of money halfway through the season, got benched.
Yep.
And then now he's just out banging whores. I mean, that's literally what he's doing. He's like Frank in fucking Always Sunny.
Always Sunny, yeah. I knew you were going there.
That's what he's doing. That's what he's just a handsome dude living in a state with no income tax, making a shit ton of money, banging whores.
Yeah.
All right. I digress. NBA talk, great. The Bulls are terrible again.
Yep.
No fucking surprise there. But right now the winter meetings are going on, and the hot stove in baseball is hotter than it's been in a long fucking time. And guys are getting drunk in bars and making deals they may not or may regret later. So what do you make of the hot stove function right now in the baseballs, Vince? Is there anything you got your eyes on that you feel as if we need to talk about right now? That's
Winter
valuable
meetings
to the
are here for sure. A couple things have already happened. Most notably, Alex Verdugo is a New York Yankee.
Wow.
The New York Yankees posted a picture of Alex Verdugo saying "Welcome to the Yankees." He has a beard and he has grills on, and I'm like,
Okay.
you're not going to allow him to do either of that. Why are you using a picture like that? Like, use one of his old ones or some shit like that. Very
So
stupid.
you jumped across to the bitter rival
Yeah.
of the team that you rep for a while. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. Verdugo's a good
He's
outfielder.
good. He's
but
not
beyond,
a needle mover, but he's good.
he's a good guy to have in left field. I mean, just put it that way. And not only that, short porch and right, he'll hit homers.
Oh, yeah.
Chances are, how this looks to me is the reason he goes to the Yankees is because the Yankees kind of understood that they're probably out on Bellinger right away. I don't think he wants to go to New York.
Well, they traded for him too, so it's like,
oh, what'd they give up for him?
Not a lot. And I know, and this kind of leads into it, like the Yankees are trying to get Juan Soto, and it looks like it's almost a done deal right now. So you might be able to package Verdugo and Juan Soto and kind of revamp that team a little bit. I mean, that outfield's fucking disgusting if you get Juan Soto on that team too. So
yeah. No, it's pretty Harrison, Bader, Verdugo, and Soto.
And Stanton DHing if he can ever play.
He's never healthy. He could barely round first fucking base.
He's not going to play outfield, but he'll be able to mash still though.
Well, my whole thing is like, if you do get Soto and you have Verdugo, where does Judge play? Is Judge just first base now?
No, he's a right fielder.
I get it, but
Judge is a good fielder and he's got a cannon of an arm. You're keeping him in right.
Where does Verdugo play then?
Verdugo's in
Soto
center. Soto's in left.
What about Bader? Is Bader out?
Put him in when you need him. Or slide Judge into DH in a game, put Bader in center, and then throw Verdugo in right. You could do anything. You'd rather have more outfielders than not enough, which they've had not enough for a long time.
The White Sox, for example, have never had a right.
Always a bad example.
It's the worst example. It's what you don't want to be if you're an MLB franchise. It's horrible.
Well, they don't need outfielders because the White Sox never have them. It's like, well, yeah, like that's like.
Well,
yeah.
No, I know.
I know what you're saying.
To the point is to show people what that could do to a franchise. Just look on the South Side.
Yep.
Understand that we haven't had an outfielder worth his shit since maybe Carlos Quentin, who's good, but that's
Adam Engel was a good outfielder. He just couldn't hit.
Yeah. He couldn't hit, and he ran like he was stealing a fucking candy bar from a grocery store.
Yeah, he ran like a tight end.
He really did he did run like a football player.
World's fastest tight end.
With all that being said, so hot stuff, a lot of things are going on in Seattle that don't make a ton of sense to me right now. There's a lot of deals popping up where I'm like, okay, so you get rid of your starting third baseman who's a dog.
Suarez.
And then you get rid of Suarez, who's an absolute beast, and I thought helping you get to where you want to go and moving that needle. So you get rid of him.
Yeah.
And then now they're trading some pretty decent pitching, and I don't get it.
Not to mention they traded Jared Kelenic. You know Jared Kelenic, former number 1 overall prospect. Jared Kelenic's been on a couple teams now. I don't think he's panning out the way teams really wanted him to pan out.
It's like Clint Frazier.
Yeah, similar, honestly. But even so, it's like you know that there's something to that. Like you know that Jared Kelenic can still do stuff. So I don't know what they're doing. Maybe they're just kind of like trying to retool a little bit. But yeah, I'm not really sure. And also the Cleveland Guardians got the number 1 overall pick today. I don't know if you saw that.
How?
I don't know. The Sox are 5th and the Guardians are 1st. I think it's the lottery, but it's just like, fuck. Now they're going to get some generational talent.
I doubt it. The MLB draft isn't like...
Yeah, but it's the Guardians.
Well, Francona's retiring, essentially, right? Francona's out.
He's gone, yeah.
So chances are the White Sox will try and sign him because he's a geriatric.
And he'll say, no
And
way.
well, no, I don't know how right now as a team, Chris Getz can say whatever the fuck he wants, but bottom line, he was in charge of minor league scouting for us, and he's done a horseshit
Horrible
job
job.
of that.
Yeah.
And then he says things like, "Oh, well, I don't like our team right now." Okay, well, what do you like?
Yeah.
Because we can't figure that out.
You were the nanny,
So,
bro. And your kids are acting
yeah,
bad. It's the nanny's fault, too.
right. So with all of that, I don't know. There's a lot of talks right now that Jerry Reinsdorf's in Nashville and talking to local government, which is terrifying.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I said it all day. I said it all day today. The last thing that Jerry Reinsdorf wants to do before he leaves this world, which is going to be sooner rather than later, is fuck us one more time and move the entire team to a different city. And then he'll die, and then we'll be like, why did he do that? And everybody's going to be like, I don't know. It wasn't our fault that he just built horrible teams.
I just don't want to hear every over proud Cub fan in the planet if that happens. Be like, at least my team didn't get fucking moved.
I know.
Whatever. Oh, fun fact for the podcast.
It's a good place to do it.
Yeah, fun fact for the podcast. The fire alarm system at Guaranteed Rate Field, a.k.a. Mortgage Park, a.k.a. Cell Phone Park, a.k.a. Comiskey Park, will now be under the reign of the business I represent.
Yeah.
So, no big deal. No big deal. Can't
Everybody call your uncles, call your brothers, call your grandpas, and let them fucking know. Be like, hey, guess what? They got a new fire alarm system, and you'll never guess who works for the company.
This guy.
Chicago Mike. It's crazy.
Chicago Mike back in full effect. Oh, dear God. The mic's fine. The mic's fine.
Hey, Grandpa, I know you're not doing okay right now, but I wanted to call you and tell you about something that'll lift your spirits.
You're such a dick. Anyway, no, it is
true,
cool, though.
It is cool, though. I like it. It's cool.
Right? I get paid for it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm excited. It's exciting.
I do. Boys love their boys. You know, you gotta give them their flowers. Good for you guys. I'm happy for you.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome.
I didn't have anything to do with it. I just got a phone call. I was like, wait. But, Vince, baseball season's coming. We're excited. We'll see what the White Sox do in the draft. Carson Montgomery looks like an absolute dog. Right now, the Ohtani stakes are in like big deal. Jed Hoyer came out recently and stated that, they're like, we hear you're out on the Ohtani stakes. He said, don't know. I'm paraphrasing, but he's like, don't know where you heard that, but simply not true.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to make of this. I think he's going to the Dodgers.
The quiet, like the keep quiet or Ohtani won't sign, I think that's out the window now. He went to go visit with the Blue Jays. Supposedly that's close, but you start learning that and you're like, well, he's out. Supposedly he met with the Dodgers, and then you start learning about it and you're like, well, then they got to be out too because he doesn't want to meet with teams, or he doesn't want it to leak that he met with teams. Like, that's going to happen regardless. So I don't know. I'm interested to see it. I also am really interested to see what the actual number ends up being, because it's a weird mix. If you're signing the guy for 10 years and you think he's going to be able to pitch, like, are you signing him as a two-way player, or is he doing a 1 year trying to hit it knowing that he's going to be able to pitch the next season and then hopefully get more money? So I'm interested to see where that actual dollar value is, what the AAV is on that, because it can vary anywhere from, it's going to be 300 plus, obviously, but it can vary into like the 400, maybe 500 realm if he is going to pitch, and people think that they're paying for two different players essentially.
I don't think he's going to pitch in 2024.
He won't. He already announced that. 2025 is earliest.
So I don't know. I just feel like the value of him pitching, you can't really bank on. And even when he is pitching, don't get me wrong, he's 11
years, 12-year contract. He'll pitch for 10 of those years.
I don't know. A lot of people are saying he could sign a 2-year deal too, or a 1-year deal just to go compete and then really break out. I think if he just goes, signs a 1-year deal, goes, competes for a title, then I'm going to pitch again, sign the big contract. He'll get paid big twice.
Mm-hmm.
There's two ways of viewing this. You either go for it all, you go for broke now and hope you don't get injured this upcoming season that's in a more catastrophic way, or you wait it out. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to figure out.
I don't know what I would pick personally, but I do know he's going to get a bag either way.
So your prediction, Dodgers? I'm thinking Dodgers.
I think he signs a short-term deal, 1 or 2 years. And I think he goes to... I think Dodgers is too easy. I think he might go... He said he doesn't want to play in New York, so they're out. Maybe Texas or Houston? Maybe he goes down to the South, checks that out?
If he does that, I'll disown him. I think he stays in LA. Either that or he stays with Anaheim.
Or he goes
I
to
don't know.
Seattle. Maybe
Or
that's
he
why
goes
they're
to
moving,
Chicago.
guys. No, fuck that. Get him out of here.
You think they're moving guys actively to try and get him through the door?
There's possibility that they're making some space in their cap. We'll see. But I really hope he doesn't become a Cub. I really don't.
Oh, God, we wouldn't hear the end of that until the day we died.
Well, yeah, and then my entire fucking neighborhood is just going to be covered in Shohei Ohtani's stupid face in the Cubs jersey. I'm going to be so mad. I don't need that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Maybe the White Sox are in. You never know.
Nope.
Maybe Chris Gatz pulls out. Wow.
Nope.
Okay.
No, you
schedule,
you said you never know. You know. For sure. They're not in it.
we almost had Manny Machado. We came out and said we gave him the most money.
Yeah.
We
no,
did.
We're going to say after. We're going to say after he signs that.
We gave him the most
a good
money.
Offer. Nope.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. I'm sure he looks back now and he still hasn't won dick, but he's like, I live in San Diego.
Right.
And life is so much easier.
If I'm going to be on a team that's underperforming, I'd rather be in one of the most beautiful cities in America.
Paradise.
Yeah.
Paradise. Don't get me wrong, Chicago is beautiful in the summer. Beyond that, take it or leave it. Anyways, wherever wherever Ohtani is our guy. Wherever the Ohtani winds up, I will say this much. He would need to be hydrated. If he's going to be hydrated, he should be hydrated with our friends at Liquid IV.
This portion of today's show is brought to you by Liquid IV. That's right, the hydration brand we've all come to know and love is with ya boys. It's festival, outdoor party, and adventure season, and proper hydration is essential. You don't want to miss out on the summertime activities while they're still here. Liquid IV will help you hydrate and stay in the game. I've been using Liquid IV for a few years, and I found a ton of uses for it. Going to sleep after a day-long soiree. This is the product that helps me rehydrate and recover. I brought them with me on hikes, long bike rides, vacations, and maybe most importantly, bachelor party weekends. The beauty of it all is that Liquid IV comes in a small, convenient package that you just add to a bottle of water and drink away. 1 stick of Liquid IV and 16 ounces of water hydrates you 2 times faster and more efficiently than water alone. Get 20% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use the Taxi Squad podcast code, TAXISQUADPODCAST, no spaces, at checkout. That's 20% off anything you order when you shop Better Hydration today using the promo code Taxi Squad podcast at liquidiv.com.
NFL talk. We are back. It was a hell of a week of picks. Mike took the lead. It's pretty amazing.
He kept the lead.
We had a game, kept the lead,
Yeah.
although Vince was close. He was close, but moving forward, we will see. Now,
one game.
Uno más. Now, it is getting to that stage of the season. We got 6 weeks left. A lot of catastrophic injuries are going down right now. We got a fair amount to get into. You know, this is what we do. We're going to skip it or rip it. So why don't we not wait any longer and get into it? So, Vince.
Yes.
Week 13.
Don't drop your mic.
I am having so many issues with this damn microphone today. I can't even tell you. If this thing falls one more time, I'm just going to hold it. Being on the road, it's always easy, not always easy. So let's get into this.
Okay. Let's start off with the Seahawks and Cowboys. I'm going to say rip it right off the bat here.
A lot of scoring.
Yeah, I think this was a good comeback game for Geno Smith, regardless of the ending score there. But I think the person we need to talk about, and we know we don't talk about the Cowboys enough. No one talks about the Cowboys enough, Mike. No one talks about this guy enough.
I don't want to talk about
Dak Prescott is playing really fucking well.
He's playing lights out. I think getting that really overrated small school quarterback was exactly what he needed.
Yeah.
To really kick him in the ass. They're like, oh, yeah, with Trey Lance, maybe a success plan. He's like, okay, as the kids would say today, bet.
And he did. He bet on himself. They're playing hard. Jesus Christ. Jerry, not Jimmy Johnson, Jerry Jones, JJ. Jerry came out too, and he said he's a consummate professional. He's playing his ass off, so he gets the approval of the owner. They're one game back from the Eagles. They play the Eagles next week, and Dak has solidified himself into that top 3 MVP conversation because we know that it's a QB award. It is not the best player award because I don't think any of the best players in the league right now are quarterbacks.
You could argue Christian McCaffrey could be right in that conversation.
Will
you could
he,
argue maybe CeeDee Lamb's in that conversation.
Will he?
I mean, you could argue a lot of guys.
Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is the best player in the fucking NFL this year. No way he's getting it. No way he's getting it.
Imagine having the wherewithal to draft that guy in your fantasy footballs. Man, I tell you what.
I got Jalen Waddle. Not the greatest.
And he waddled away.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, the Cowboys are doing what the Cowboys do. The Cowboys are going to go to the playoffs. They're going to maybe be the best team in the NFC East by the end of it, and they'll probably lose in the first or second round. So, good for the Cowboys.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree. What are we going to do? You know, this game to me was great. I thought the Seahawks stayed in it the whole time. DK Metcalf had a hell of a game.
He's so
probably
good.
Getting the biggest. He's a freak.
He's so fast. His
former father is an absolute freak too.
Former
Bear.
Is he not a
former
dad
Bear? His father, Robert Metcalf, was a right tackle.
Anymore. He used to be his dad. He gave up on that.
Used to be his dad. Former dad gave up for a little bit. Got in the NFL. He's like, okay, I'm your dad again. Yep. Anyways, with all that being said, I look at this as a situation where the Cowboys, they're going to be the wild card. They're going to be the wild card in this whole scenario.
If they win this weekend, though, we got a tie ball game with the Eagles.
We will talk about it. Talk about it. All right, moving on.
Colts at Titans. I like it. I'm going to rip it just because, number one, Gardner Minshew is the funniest guy to play in the NFL. I love him. I hope he never leaves. He's getting up to Jameis level for me, and I love me some Jameis. Gardner Minshew takes the Colts in a win against the Titans. Very confusing. Shane Steichen, head coach of said Indianapolis Colts, might have a chance at Coach of the Year this year? Is that a crazy statement?
I don't know about all that.
They're playing better than they should have.
Yeah, they're playing better than they should have without a quarterback, without all that. I get it. I don't know if he gets Coach of the Year.
I think he
Dan
deserves
Campbell to me. Dan Campbell to me deserves Coach of the Year.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue that. The fact that the Colts are 7-5 after the year they had last year in itself is pretty fucking insane.
There's a lot of people you could argue for Coach of the Year. You look over at, Green Bay right now, what they're doing. They're coming on hot, and you hate it. And we'll get into it, but I'm just saying it's there.
Yeah.
And you look at this guy. He's undefeated through his entire career as a head coach in December. It's pretty impressive. So
yeah, I hate it.
This game, though, was exciting to watch. I watched the last quarter. I thought it was great. Minshew is an absolute dog. Alex Pierce have yourself a game. He just absolutely went off. And then not only that, who Jonathan Taylor, who knows him? They don't need him.
Yeah.
They really don't need him.
And also Derrick Henry, not old yet. Still doing it. 102 yards, 2 TDs. Okay.
Derrick Henry, in my opinion, absolute dog when he's on the field, but he gets hurt every year. And now it's Tajay Spears season, so watch out for that.
Yep. All right, that's Colts, and that is Titans. The next game, Falcons at Jets. Listen.
I can skip it.
Tim Boyle was released by the Jets today. They picked up Brett Ripon. Zach Wilson, or Rippon, or whatever his name is. Zach Wilson announced the starter again. They're trying that out again. Why don't they just go fucking full fantasy factory and just pick up whoever the fuck, like put Tim Tebow in? Fuck it.
I have no idea what more to say than Zach Wilson coming out and saying he doesn't know if he wants to start again.
Yeah, because I wouldn't want to either. Even though he doesn't play well, it's like, what are we doing? Like, why are we carouseling this shit? Like, it doesn't. I know they want to find a way to make it happen, but it's just not happening this year. So whatever their plan is now, it's just got to be like, stick with one guy and ride it out. Rodgers would only come back just to prove a point that he could come back. There's no way they're making the playoffs anymore. They scored, 8 points this week? Something like that? Just an obscene, like, 13-8 is so dumb, and this is how the Falcons are going to stumble into a playoff spot. in the NFC South because it's so bad. They're just going to beat the Jets by freaking 5 points, 13-8. Like, what is stupid? It's like an Iowa game.
It's pretty dumb, if I do say so myself. I don't know. This game, Falcons, I mean, played great on defense, of course, because they don't have a quarterback to, compete against them. I just feel, once again, I still feel bad for Garrett Wilson. Zach Wilson, he's probably out after this year anyways. And then next year you start fresh with Aaron Rodgers, who I don't even know if he's going to be good anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw 4 plays of the guy, and he looked okay at best. And then outside of that,
no reason to believe that he won't be good.
He's never played with an offensive line that sucked. So time will tell.
I know, but it's just like Aaron Rodgers has always been good, and he'll be good forever is how I feel.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, that's Jets Falcons. Lions at Saints. I want to rip it.
Nice. Yeah.
Get back game for the Lions. Now 9-3. Steady hold on the division, even though the Packers are being chippy down there. Jared Goff, okay game, figured it out. Jahmyr Gibbs ends up taking the brunt of the carries as well, and Taysom Hill is a running back.
Taysom Hill is whatever you want him to be that week.
Yeah.
He is a Swiss Army knife. The man's truly amazing. I do believe that moving forward, they need to get him more involved. He can't start, but he is a true pace guy.
Yeah,
he changes pace for that team. Jameis in the game.
Pace guy.
Man,
he's on the team. Ryan Pace is GM?
Technically, yeah, he is. He's not the GM, but he's an assistant to Ryan Pace is not the GM of the Saints.
I thought he was.
He's like still an assistant to Mickey Loomis.
Gotcha.
Because he still sucks. Anyways,
well,
with all of that
out
being
well because the Saints fucking stink.
Really?
They're bad.
Who would have thunk it? I just honestly, Derek Carr can't stay healthy. I think he needs to hang it up. His career is just, I think it's over.
Yeah, or just get out of it. The Dennis Allen Saint thing is not working out. They also have good players on their team that are too old at this point. They should probably blow it up and try again and run it back. It still feels like they're trying to hold on to the Breeze thing, and it's not working out too well for them. It's getting worse and worse by the year. The Lions, the only thing I can say about the Lions is they kind of stopped scoring after the first quarter.
Well, they were moving the ball great. This is the Jared Goff thing. Like, he performs very well until he doesn't, and then he goes super stagnant, and then he can't move the ball. So I am a little unclear as to how that looks for them moving forward. And to be fair, I just think that maybe it's Hendon Hooker season next year. We'll see.
I mean,
you look at the NFC North right now, and they should kind of be a little weary. They're going to win the division, but Packers are going to be coming, and they're playing really good, and they're starting to come together. Ugh. They're a young team, and they look good. And I have no any other way to say it other than, of course, this fucking happens.
I know.
Of course
it's Groundhog Day.
Yep.
Whatever. All right. Well, that's that on that game. Go Saints, I guess. I don't know what to tell you. All right. Broncos at Texans.
Broncos, Texans. We need to rip this. This game was epic.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how to feel. Russell Wilson sucks again, I guess. How is this working out?
No, he played a really good young team, and they couldn't keep up all day.
3 INTs. You can't turn the ball over 3 times and beat anybody, essentially. The Texans are fun. The Texans aren't going to win a lot in the playoffs, but they are 7-5, and they're probably going to be in the playoffs this year.
Time will tell. I think they're a wonderful team. I think they're great. They're young. They're coming. They look
win the
great.
Division?
D'Amico Ryan. Well, with Trevor Lawrence going down, I think so.
They could.
I think with Trevor Lawrence going down, there's no way they don't win that division.
Depends on how long he's going to end up being out, because I've heard mixed reviews on that. But also, they're tied with the Indianapolis Colts too. So look out for that, Shane.
Yeah,
Steichen.
the Colts don't have the horses to play. No way.
They keep winning. They keep winning.
Yeah, I get they keep winning, but they don't have the horses to compete long term. Defense looks good. Steichen's a good head coach. Don't get me wrong. I just don't feel as if that's something that's long term.
I don't either, but I do think it can happen for the next 4 or 5 weeks that we have left of the season. It's always possible.
Yeah.
Chargers at Patriots. Yikes.
Chargers,
What
Patriots.
the
You could skip
fuck?
this one.
I want to talk about it only because
Oh
the
God,
Chargers are
6
so
points.
the Chargers are so stupid, dude. It doesn't make any
They're
fucking
bad.
sense. The
Well,
Patriots are horrible,
Johnson.
obviously.
Quentin Johnson's horrible. His hands are made of fucking sandpaper.
What a bust of a draft pick Quentin Johnston
Yeah.
of TCU was for the Chargers. I thought that was going to be a all-day good draft pick. He's going to work out for this team. He's going to be a great target for Justin Herbert to throw to outside of Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. That does not seem to be true right now, especially with slippery butterfingers on that side with Quentin Johnston. Austin Eckler, I don't know if he's even a running back anymore. He almost had more carries than yards, which is hilarious, and then can't get in the end zone, and they still beat the weary and horrible New England Patriots, and I love that they're bad right now.
I just believe the Pats are done. Belichick's out wherever he goes. A lot of people are saying he might take over in Washington.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying that there may be a fart's chance in hell that he comes in and just solely takes over just something. I wouldn't – if he was like, oh, yeah, I want to be a part of the Jets, he gets another great quarterback and he builds that around him. You never know. But –
I think he goes to Washington, and then the Bears can go ahead and pick up the enemy if Harbaugh doesn't come our way.
Harbaugh's coming. I don't to the cigarette smoker himself, Bruce Feldman's voice. He's 100% leaving Michigan after this loss in a few weeks. So, no doubt in my mind. But as we look at this game, just an epic. Like God, they're so bad. If anybody could almost be worse than the Bears, it's maybe them. So. Yeah, there's that.
Yeah, and then the Chargers aren't too far behind.
No, they're not. They're not
bad, and they shouldn't be.
That field looked weird all day, too. I don't know. It looked like gray in Foxborough. It was odd.
Yeah. I think really that's odd. Literally like the gods are like, your reign is over. You get a gray field, and everything's sad now. It's like, good. Boston needs that. No offense to Boston. I like it as a city, but they need to, be brought down a couple levels for a couple years here. So, cool with me.
True.
Cardinals at Steelers.
Cards Steelers. I look at this game and I go, okay, Kenny Pickett can't stay healthy. Cardinals are actually pretty good when Kyler Murray's on the field. I don't know if there's any way, shape, or form they get rid of him.
I think that they draft Marvin Harrison Jr.
I think he wouldn't be far off.
If they're in a spot at the beginning of the draft there, I think they pick him up. I think they keep Kyler, and then they run it back and try to do it again. Because I don't think they expect it to be as good as they have been since Kyler's return, regardless of their defense.
Great. They look great. I know Money Mitch. I know Lambo Mitch was in after Kenny Pickett. It's so one of those situations. Dude.
He's so bad.
So looking at this, I just personally believe that Kyler's there to stay.
Yeah.
He's a dog when he's on the field and he's healthy.
Yeah.
And that defense is better than most people give it credit for. And that dork of a head coach that they have. I forget what's his name?
He's the other Eagles guy. I keep forgetting his name. Hold on.
Yeah, he's such a dork. And he's a good coach, I guess.
Jonathan
this
Gannon.
is what Gannon is a good coach, I guess. That dork of a human is a good coach. And then outside of that, you look at it and you're like, really? I don't get it.
Yeah. I mean, whatever. It's the Cardinals. They used to be Chicago Cardinals, never forget. So if they win, we win. And that's fine with me.
Yeah, I guess.
Dolphins at Commanders.
Chicago going to Arizona.
Right.
I could skip this. This was just a shit show.
Tyreek's really good. The Commanders aren't good anymore. Sam Howell, is he it? No one really knows. Panthers at Bucks.
Panthers at Bucks.
They suck. The Panthers suck.
They both really suck. The Panthers scored more points than they have.
Keep losing.
Yeah,
I want to skip it. I don't care about either of these fucking teams.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, okay, keep it moving. This is the game of the week.
Game of the week.
Not really, but
a
good game.
It was
49.
Quite a showing. Quite a showing for San Francisco to be like, hey, this is what happens when we have a quarterback. Because that was the whole conversation. Debo's been doing the whole thing. The Philadelphia Eagles coming from the other side. People were like, oh, if they didn't have a quarterback, it would have been different. Or if they had a quarterback. Yeah. I mean, I know this isn't the NFC Championship. I know this isn't like the end of the season. But the 49ers had their way with the Eagles. Obviously, you want to make sure everybody's staying healthy on the other side of Philadelphia. Philadelphia still 10-2, so they still hold the number 1 seed in the NFC. But is this a Groundhog's Day? Are they going to lose the number 1 seed again for the second year in a row?
We'll see. I think that overall, this is going to be the NFC Championship game.
You think so?
Once
Yeah.
again, oh yeah, there's no doubt this is the NFC Championship game. I think the Eagles just got off of a hell of a stretch. They played all the bird teams here coming up. So, or the 49ers play all the bird teams.
Yep.
But, I mean, they really showed that they're a little burnt out right now, and moving forward, it's going to be interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, and talking about MVPs, Brock Purdy's in the news now. Brock Purdy's getting MVP conversations. A lot of people saying, well, he's got great guys on the field. He's got yards after catch guys. He's got all of that. His yards after catch compared to the last 5 MVPs is actually lower. So that means his yards, actual passing yards, are more valid than the Rodgers MVP, the Mahomes MVP, all of those. There's a possibility that he wins it this year. I think that would be crazy. But something about this San Francisco team, after they went through that little drought in the middle of the season, they seem to be kind of coming into it. And as long as they can stay healthy for the rest of the year, the Eagles have to be a little worried.
I think the 49ers are pissed because they know they've missed their mark a few times. Deebo Samuel even came out and said, if Brock's our quarterback, we're going to the Super Bowl. I think if you had a way too early pick right now for the NFC to wrap, it's got to be 1,000% the 49ers. They just look too good across the board. And unless catastrophic injuries occur, they're going to be there.
I'm sticking with Philly, but it's going to be close. Because also, losing like that, you're like, fuck you.
As this season starts to shift, it's very odd. It's very odd. It's becoming more so the Eagles are good, but they're kind of a one-trick pony, the push, the whole thing. Defense, granted, now they got Shaq coming.
Yeah.
So Shaquille Leonard's coming. So that's going to help them greatly, and it's going to help fortify that defense that's already disgusting.
Yep.
I don't know. To me, it's the 49ers year. Now that I'm looking at this from
5-6 weeks
larger
ago,
lens.
dude, though.
We both I know, but we both picked the
49ers
Eagles,
dropped 3 in a
I
row.
think, a little early. And yeah, I think Brock's in. I think it's great.
And that, my friend, is why we do the way too early Super Bowl picks, because we're always going to be wrong.
Pretty much. All
Browns
right, great
at
game.
Rams.
I could skip it. Yeah, either than
DTR's
Puka Nacua.
back. Flacco's on the practice squad again.
Puka Nacua is dethroning Cooper Kupp.
Yep.
And
BYU, great.
Maybe
Puka.
over. Puka might be the guy now.
Could
But,
be.
I mean, hey, Stafford that team could still make the playoffs. Don't sleep on him. Aaron Donald's still there. Might be his last year on that team. Might be his last year there.
Always his last year.
Yeah, he always does that. Not surprising at all. But beyond that, it's interesting to say the least. And one thing will lead to another. And the Rams might be back in the playoffs. But I do think Stafford, this is probably his last year. He got a Super Bowl out of it. But there is a scenario where the Lions and the Rams do play in the playoffs.
That would be,
if this continues,
awesome. That would be so awesome.
It'd be sick.
Chiefs and Packers. We have to.
Oh, we got to rip this.
Fuck, dude. What the fuck? How?
If you drafted Christian Watson in your fantasy league, you're sitting here right now and you're like, what in the absolute fuck is going on? Because this guy did dick the past, 10 weeks, and now he just explodes. And now he's in full effect to be, a top 5 wide receiver the rest of the way.
It's not even just him, dude. Fucking Romeo Dobbs, too, like leading the whole game in receiving yards. Like, how?
I just think they're a young team. They're talented. They're starting to mesh, and one thing leads to another. And before you know it, oh, man, I can't
Jordan Love, dude. Jordan Love is supposed to be bad. Jordan Love isn't supposed to throw fucking 267 yards and 3 touchdowns and amazing efficiency against the Kansas City fucking Chiefs. Matt Nagy is ruining that team because Matt Nagy is a team ruiner. But just seeing the Packers play like this at this time is the most demoralizing garbage bullshit ever. And I hate it. And they need to stop. Just quit it.
I don't disagree. I think ultimately if I view this game, this is something to me that shows they have a process. They trust their process. They work it. They give their quarterbacks time to grow. And not many quarterbacks in the NFL have that ability to just sit behind a grate for a few years, figure it out, learn the system, and then go in and you earn your lumps, but know how to work through them at the same time. He got to learn under one of the best. And if you look at it, it's working. It's working to a T.
Did you see that stat card that they read out in the middle of the broadcast where it was like Aaron Rodgers threw this many games and fucking Jordan Love threw this many games? It was almost identical.
A lot of people who are Packers fans who I've discussed this with say the same exact thing. And once again, the process works. They trust it. They work it. Matt LaFleur, great coach, good-looking cat, knows what the fuck he's doing. And he's bringing it back. I hate it. But as a Bears fan anymore, as you get older, you just can't not respect it. You fucking hate him, but in a way, you respect him.
I know.
I'm not trying to be
if the
Packers
Bears
Mike
did this,
over
I
here,
would
but
talk
at the end
so
of the
much
day,
shit.
We would
you're
be
always
talking.
Packers, Mike. You're always Packers.
Fuck off. Anyways, I'm just saying from a level of how that's like it's like in Breaking Bad. They can't keep getting away with it because they can't.
It's stupid.
I don't get it.
All right, last one of the year, or of the season, rather, not of the year. Excuse me. Pardon me. Jake Browning season, Bengals 34, Jaguars 31.
Played a great game. Granted, he has every weapon under the sun.
Yeah,
I think
he threw
I might
the same
be
amount
able
of
to
touchdowns he had in college as he did in this game, so good for him.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Jamar Chase, his dog, T. Higgins back, had a pretty good game. I'm like, yeah, Joe Mixon, you're there. That defense. It just, once again, it goes to show you if Joe Burrow was in, they'd be twice as good, and they'd be on their way to another playoff appearance. And I called that, but then I can't control the weather.
32 for 37, 354 yards is crazy and badass. So good for you just coming in here, Jake Browning, and taking care of business. We talked Trevor Lawrence already. Ouchie mama. Hopefully it's not as bad as it looks. But Jacksonville Jaguars 8-4, one game up in the division right now, and they dropped this game to Cincinnati without Burrow. It's got to hurt a little bit. CJ Beathard or Beathard or however you say his name. He used to be on the fucking 49ers. He played a lot. I never knew how to say his name then either. Okay. He was efficient, and that was about it.
Yeah, that team's nothing without – that team is literally nothing without Trevor Lawrence. So without him, they're really going nowhere. We'll see if and when he comes back. But without them, there's no way they win that division.
I agree.
There's no way. And the Colts aren't that great. You see the Texans coming. You know, their strength of schedule moving forward here, they got the Jets and really nobody else coming up. I mean, there is nothing here that makes you feel as like, oh, the Texans won't be there when the time is right. Because I think they will.
They're set up to win, especially with how bad they were last year, too. It's like now they get matched up with fourth-place teams, which is quite all right with them.
Their next two matchups, Jets and Browns, good defenses, but they're still going to go out and show out. You know, I guess the one thing you could say is that you have the Jets in New Jersey, and then not only that, but you play the Browns at home. So we'll see.
Zach Wilson and then Dorian Thompson-Robinson, I'll take it.
Yeah, I agree with that statement. Yeah, great games, great week of games. Vince, what's the current record right now? How do I look here?
Right now, our current record is... Sorry, let me scroll to it, guys. Everybody chill the fuck out. We went 9-4. You went 9-4. I went 8-5. Right now, you are 114-79 to my 112-81. So you're up 2 games currently.
On the overall record, that's it.
It's close.
Now,
it's close.
It is really close.
So without further ado, let's make our picks, Michael. Starting off with quite a stinker of a matchup, Patriots-Steelers.
Patriots-Steelers. I want to keep picking this team, but I can't.
Do it again.
Give me Money Mitch. I got nothing. Give me Money Mitch. He's going to play. So I'm going
to lose. They're actively trying
I think so. It's going to be the lowest scoring game in existence.
Yeah. So I'm taking the Steelers as well. I think we know what our picks are here. Texans at Jets.
Give me the Texans.
Easy. Rams at Ravens. Interesting little matchup here.
Interesting matchup. I just don't think they get past. It's going to be a high-scoring game. I think there's going to be a lot of offense here. Baltimore is a very tough place to play at this time of year. Give me the Ravens.
I'm going to take them as well. I have them going deep in the playoffs, and I think
Kind
it's
of just a kind of an easy week, but let's go.
When we get down to the end of the season here, we know what the teams are and we know what they're playing for.
Yeah,
and it's just going to start
always
becoming closer and closer with the picks. So,
yeah,
another one where we kind of know what's going to happen here. Panthers at Saints.
Another team that's trying to lose, even though they don't have a first-round pick. Give me the Panthers.
They're not even trying to lose. They're just so fucking bad that they're going to lose.
I feel bad for Adam Thielen. I don't know what he was thinking.
I think he's fine. He took the money. All right, Colts at Bengals.
You got to go with the Colts, yeah? I mean, you got to go with the Colts.
Browning plays like that again, though. Keep him alive, but I'm taking the Colts as well because they're trying to win. Bucks at Falcons.
Bucks Falcons. Give me the Falcons.
Fuck, Mike. I'm taking the Falcons.
Sorry, no parody.
There's none this week. Jags at Browns. What a gross matchup. What is it?
You go first.
DTR versus CJ Beathard.
You go first. I don't want to go first.
I'm gonna lean on the defense. I'm gonna take Cleveland.
All right, for parody, give me the Jags.
Oh,
maybe Beathard has a week to prepare and does it. I don't believe in it, but let's go.
Lions at Bears.
Okay, come on. I kind of want to do it.
Do it. I mean, do it if you want. I'll take it, but I'm not doing it.
Momentum. Give me the fucking Bears. They almost beat them a couple weeks ago. Now it's a home game. Come on.
Good for you. I'll take the Lions, and I goddamn hope I'm incorrect about that. All right. Seahawks 49ers.
Give me the 49ers.
Yeah, Niners want that 1 seed. Vikings at Raiders.
Give me the Raiders.
Yeah, this is a toss-up. I'll take either of them, honestly. I'm going to go with the Vikings because I think they're going to try to get in the playoffs here. So there's another difference in pick, guys. AFC West, Broncos at Chargers. Who would have thought the Broncos would be better than Chargers right now?
Yeah, I not most, but considering Staley's dog shit, yeah. Give me the Broncos because I think they're going to come back after a shitty week.
The Chargers scored 6 points against the Patriots. I'm taking the fucking Broncos.
Yeah. Broncos.
Bills at Chiefs.
Chiefs have dropped 2 in a row. They're not looking really good. And let's put it in big games. They've dropped 2.
Bills have been hot too.
I'm not going. I'm saying the Chiefs recover. I'm taking the Chiefs.
They don't lose 3 in a row, Mike, and I'm taking the Chiefs as well.
Let's go.
Eagles at Cowboys.
Give me the Eagles. Don't lose 2 in a row. Give me the Eagles.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
They don't.
They're not.
They're
not going to lose.
No. Here's what happens. Ready? Every fucking Cowboy fan on the face of the planet goes, "We're back. See, we told you. Blah blah blah. We're going to the Super Bowl."
Yep. And you're like, fuck off.
And then they lose.
Tony Pollard's pretty good. So, Packers at Giants. Yeah. I'm with you.
The Packers.
Yeah, they have to win it. Sadly, I'm taking them as well. I just hate typing their name down. And finally, Titans at Dolphins. This is going to be stupid.
This week is such a fucking snooze fest.
It sucks. There's going to be so many bad games.
When you get to this point in the football season, it's just so the games are on the schedule for the games to be on the schedule at this stage of the game. To Vince's point, most of everything is decided. You know who those teams are going to be making the playoffs. There's a couple fringes, but beyond that, it's nothing out of bounds.
Yep.
If we look at where they're headed next in the NFL, I think there maybe need to be another wild card set of teams. I think it would be great for parity.
That's 18 teams in the playoffs.
Give everybody a crack at it. Fuck it. Now, I would like to talk I would like to talk about this a little bit.
Okay.
It is being reported right now that Caleb Williams did decide, and we should have saved this for college football talk, but he did decide that he is not going to play in the Potato Bowl,
Yeah.
and he will not commit to the fact that he is either coming back or not coming
He's
back.
going to the draft.
He's going to the draft.
Yeah.
All right, we talk about this weekly, but it's still something that for parity, what do you do? So hypothetically, the Chicago Bears have the first round draft pick.
Take him.
Right? The very first pick in the draft.
Take him.
Yeah. Okay. Devil's advocate.
Okay.
Or does Kevin Warren come in and say, hey, we like our guy. We can flip this pick again for more value. We're not sold on Caleb Williams. He looks like another Justin Fields. We will forego the control, maybe draft a kid like what's his face from FSU who's going to be going live, coming off an injury, undervalued. Jordan Travis. Maybe you draft Jordan Travis in the 3rd or 4th round to sit behind Justin for a few years. Similar type player, a little bit smarter, a little bit bigger. Then you take offensive line to really field around Fields. Chances are Ryan Poles may stay or may go. I think the Flus is loose after this season.
Cut him loose, yeah.
Does Ryan Poles stay if Flus goes?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's hard.
You think they're all gone?
No. I think Poles stays. I think Flus is gone. I think you can't take a GM out that quickly in a position that he's in until you see how it all works out. It's been pretty obvious that this whole Eberflus thing isn't working out. We saw like 90% screens the last Bears game we watched. That was fucking horrible and inexcusable. So I think that whole staff has to go. I think you give Poles another run at it. I think he has made a couple good moves, regardless of the fact of the way it's been looking, whatever it is. I think he's made some pretty good moves. And I think he'll stay around. I think he gets to choose one more coach and see how it runs through. But to your point about Caleb Williams, I do think he's just as talented as he was before. I do think his draft stock went down maybe a little bit, but I also don't think that USC was the best place to go because he threw the ball 70 times a fucking game. So I'm taking Caleb Williams. I'm taking the best prospect that's been in the draft for a long fucking time, and I'm going to see how it's going to work out that way because that's the only way I can think right now. He has that.
What if he doesn't want to? What if he doesn't want to be in Chicago?
Then
what if he doesn't want? What if he digs his heels and I won't play for you?
Well, then trade it. And then after that, be like he kept being a fucking crybaby and didn't want to play in Chicago, so we had to trade him.
I feel
Talk
like
shit about the kid, dude.
Like the more and more I learn about who the player is, the more and more I dislike him. And I feel as if he's like he has that LeBron element to him where he's been told he's the shit his whole life.
A little bit.
And he wants to decide where he's going to play. Not like LeBron really did, although Cleveland just kind of fell in his lap. Hometown kid, great story, all that. But beyond that, Caleb has his teams, and I think he got a little big for his bridges quick, and now I think he's not going to have the mobility he thought he did.
Eli won 2 Super Bowls. That's my argument.
I know Eli won 2 Super Bowls, and he forced his hand to get out of San Diego. Phillip Rivers was there with LT. Fine. I just look at this situation and say, okay, I don't know. Do you just draft a quarterback with every pick and hope one of them hits? I'm there now.
Yeah.
But Fields has proven okay, here's another hypothetical.
I know,
Fields balls out. He balls out for the rest of the season. What do you do?
We already fucked him, dude. We already ruined him. I think it's already over. We jaded the kid too much. I think he could be really good on another team, but I don't think we should keep him. I think we should send him somewhere else and actually give him a fighting chance. Send him to Atlanta. Try to do it at home thing, and then they'll figure it out over there. I don't like. There's so much negative press, and the longer he stays, the more it's going to be like, do they keep him? It's going to be all next year. It's going to be all the year after that until he does something astronomical, like breaks a record or some shit. Like, it's going to keep being the same thing. I'd rather bring the new guy in and then hope that everything works out that way with a brand new coaching staff. That's the only way I could foresee it being okay.
I feel like, at the end of the day, you have one more year of control. You keep him. I'd say you draft a quarterback and you create a competition.
Cool with me.
Right?
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing you
hey,
can do.
motherfucker, you gotta try.
You got to compete. The job isn't given. He's a guy. Maybe that's what maybe that's what Fields needs to overcome some of his, I don't know, issues,
I
so to
think it's
speak.
the fucking play calling too, though. It's so
Oh,
bad.
yeah, no, but he executes a game plan pretty well. I mean, you can't
Sometimes.
say that he doesn't. When he goes off script, he's very talented,
Yeah.
holds on to the ball way too fucking long. I feel like a lot of that's coaching, though. If he had a coach worth his shit that really wanted to get his hands on him and work with him, I
It's a
think
lot
where
to
you could
ask.
go with that is endless.
Yeah.
I get it. I'm just saying, if you had a guy like Harbaugh who knows how he plays, you had a guy that really believed in who he was and say, I'm
Oh,
going to take this guy and mold him.
Harbaugh and an Ohio State quarterback just making sweet, sweet magic on the football field. I'll take it. I'm cool with that.
I'm half mass as I think about it.
That's
I think
wild.
most Bears fans are. most, most Bears fans are, if you really break it down. But truthfully, I do believe that's one of those situations where, yeah, it's going to be interesting how this plays out moving
Yeah,
forward.
I agree. Take Caleb Williams, boys.
What?
Just do it.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. Well, Bears are going to Bears. Off season's going to be fun. Draft spectacular. Look out for it. Well, Vince, another week is in the books,
That's
man. I
that,
mean,
buddy.
no matter where we are, we get it done. Excited to be back in Chicago for the holidays. It's going to be great. Vince and I are going to be live and in person Christmas episode.
Looking
Christmas,
forward
maybe
to it.
Christmas. Might bring out the Santa hats. Got a lot of new things coming down the pike for the podcast. We're very excited to break it to you in the new year. And moving forward, we are really jacked for the next step. So stick with us, people. We appreciate you always. Week after week, we try and bring you the best content. We hope you love it. Moving forward, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, you should hit that bell
Do it.
in that corner, and you will be notified when these two idiots are back on the air every week. I mean, what more could you be asking for? And then not only that, share it with your friends because they might enjoy it too. And if you got a father and if you got a grandfather and maybe you made him a grandfather
Or a
and maybe
mom,
not,
or a
I don't
cousin,
fucking
or an
know.
aunt,
I don't
or
know
a
your
Dom, or an Uncle
situation.
Dom.
Or maybe, just maybe, you got somebody you want to share it to, do with that. It's the holiday season of giving. What a better gift to give than these two beautiful fotches. As always, people, we will be back next week. See yous.
Peace.